the third track off the album is called You Always Want What You Can't Get. And that title was basically taken from the song by the Rolling Stones called You Can't Always Get What You Want. Whenever I would see that written somewhere, I mean, that's a classic line that people say. I was really, I always thought it was interesting how you could jumble the letters or the words around, mix them up and reshuffle them, and it still spells out the same thing, but it's a different phrase, which is you always want what you can't get, which is kind of another thing in life. People are always saying that they want something that's kind of out of their reach, which I guess goes in with, you can't always get what you want. But anyways, I had that idea and I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it. I'm a huge fan of Bob Dylan, and specifically kind of his earlier stuff. He has an album, Blonde on Blonde, from 1966 that I really liked, and I was listening to that quite a lot. And the songs on it, he has the band backing him and everything, and they kind of flow in like cycles. It's not verse, chorus, bridge, all that. It kind of just is him going where he wants with it, telling the story, and the band's trying to keep up. And a lot of it was done in very few takes. So I kind of like that flow, of keeping the listener wondering, where is this going? And I had that concept, you always want what you can't get, and thought, why don't I apply it to a song that kind of just, it's the same thing, like in terms of you can't tell where the song's going. It discusses, maybe this character or this scenario, but then it goes to something else completely different, which, this song touches on. It's a similar theme in that these are characters or people in the song that, can't get what they really desire because it seems out of reach, but at the same time, it's all kind of, not really connected at the same time. So like, what I mean by that is, like the first verse is kind of talking about how, as a society, maybe, there's people that, you pass by on a daily basis or every once in a while that, they're gonna think differently than you, they're gonna have different opinions, they're gonna go about life differently, and maybe that's something that to you is, it's like, man, I wish people were kind of more, considerate or more caring of each other, and it's like, that's kind of a pipe dream, with so many people in the world. The second verse, it kind of talks about how, boy meets girl, he falls in love with her, but she doesn't want to be with him. And then another girl falls in love with him, and then, but he's still in love with the first girl, and that's just a constant, thing of like, it's like unrequited love, that's just people, it's funny, he could be happy with somebody that wants to be with him, but at the same time, he's so obsessed with the person that he can't have that, that's what ruins it. And then the third verse, it kind of just talks about how, you work really hard in life to try to get that job or to try to get to that point in your career where you're making a lot of money or you feel you really establish yourself and amongst your peers and amongst people in the society, but at the same time, you're not getting to enjoy yourself as much in life. You're not, you don't have much time for leisure and for relaxation. So, and you just seem to be always trying to chasing something that you can't get to. And then the last verse, it talks about, when you're young, when you're a kid, you see all the adults and the older people, and you want to be just like them. You don't want to have to listen to what your parents say or to have to be, in bed by a certain time or eat this or whatever. You want to be able to make your own choices. And then, you get to, an older age and where you're able to make those kind of decisions and you're kind of free of, the rules that you had initially as a child, but at the same time, you don't have as much freedom. You have all these responsibilities that, you have to be able to take care of on a daily basis, and all of a sudden it's like you want to go back to being a kid, back when you did have the freedom to do kind of whatever you wanted to do. So that's just the general theme of the song. It's pretty straightforward, but yeah, it was definitely influenced a lot by mid-60s Bob Dylan and just, seeing where the song was going to take you.
You always want what you can't get.
Thank you for watching. My second album, After the Apocalypse, is available everywhere.